in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use a foam roller for recovery. Over the years with foam rolling, both as an athlete and as a trainer and coach, I always tell people foam rollers are the cheap man's way for massage. Okay, so if it's really important as an athlete to foam roll regularly to help your recovery. So to give you a little bit of a physiology in terms of why it's important is on our muscles, we have this covering that is called fascia. So this fascia is what it holds our muscles kind of in place and covers our muscles. So when we train, that fascia gets tighter, just like depending on what type of training that you're doing. So for me, boxing training over the years, it's about speed, agility, power. Those are the three main things that I'm always focusing on as a competitive boxer and helping my athletes over the years focus on as well. So you want to help that fascia recover, because when you don't, it gets really tight. And that's how it leads to knots, and you're not as efficient with your recovery, because recovery and rest is just as important as training. So the foam roller helps you do that. And I'm going to show you a couple other things as well as the foam roller that helps get into those places that are really, really important. Now, I have trained all different kinds of people over 20 plus years that I've been a part-time coach, and 9 years since I've been a full-time coach. And if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Leigh Button. I am a motivational speaker and coach. My professional background in school is a Bachelor of Sciences in nursing. And I specialize in helping women and people with Parkinson's increase their energy while decreasing their emotional and physical pain so that they can have the confidence and trust in their bodies that they deserve. In 2017, I was voted Fab Female Health and Wellness Entrepreneur of the Year in Greater Toronto. Okay, getting into foam rolling here today. I'm going to go over both, like for someone who doesn't know how to foam roll, again, because I've trained people who are much older, so I modify a lot of things and progress as we go on. And if you're younger, 30 and under, even 40 and under, if you've been a natural kind of athlete your whole life doing sports, whatever that may be, you can push yourself more past that kind of perceived pain that you may experience. Obviously, listening to your body as best as you can. You know your body best. These are just tips to help you for recovering and get the most out of your performance. Okay? Performance being, it could be whatever, like performance goal, maybe you've got a competition coming up, or goal just as in you want to decrease your pain and discomfort with your body. Foam rolling is one of the ways to do that. Now, I only have a demonstration here with a rumbler. Okay, this is never ever what I would recommend you start out with, but it's only what I have demonstration with. So for most people, and most of these foam rollers are those big, long ones. And that looks like foam, okay? When you're first starting out, you've never had a massage, you've never foam rolled before, and you're older, what I would recommend is doing it up against the wall. It's gonna feel really awkward at first. So everything I'm showing horizontally down on the ground, you would do vertically up against the wall, okay? So the best place overall to start, if you is just to gently, lightly roll the roller all over your muscles. So you're going to be here, rolling gently the calves, breathing as you're going. So it begins with breath and it ends with breath. So as you're going, if there's any discomfort, and I haven't been doing this regularly on a regular basis lately because I've been focusing more on business the last few years. So foam rolling is not, it always causes me more discomfort than it used to. So I'm rolling here just nice and gently, feeling as you're rolling, where are those spots that cause you like, ooh, ah, as you're going. Okay, and then I'm gonna roll up towards my glutes, breathe, Okay, so it's okay, I don't feel anything too tight there. I'm gonna go to my other side of my body, rolling my calves, gently rolling in the back of my leg, then rolling up towards my hamstrings, deep breathing as I'm going, and rolling up towards my glutes again. Okay, so that's fairly good. The spot that I did feel something though is in the back of my knees, and they've been a little tighter lately. So if you feel something as you're going and it's a little tighter and it gives you that, ooh, something's there. Okay, you're just gonna sit and just press into it gently as you're breathing out. So with your breath, you're releasing that tension as you're rolling, and then once it's kind of released a little bit more, it's called tacking when you do it with a more pointed edge, like what I'm doing with my foam roller or my rumbler, because the rumbler's got little knobby things on it. And then you go to the next spot, find the next spot and do that. Okay, now, if it is, sometimes people don't, when they're first starting, okay, I've had clients, they can't even lift themselves up like this to do this with the roller. So what you're gonna do is you just manipulate it with your hand. Do what you can, manipulate it with your hand, roll it a little bit, manipulate it with your hand, okay? And then you go to your back gently, because especially if you've got any back issues, always make sure you would discuss it a little bit more with your chiropractor, sports physiotherapist, whoever it may be, okay? These are just suggestions, they're not full-based solutions, okay? So you're gently leaning back, and then you're rolling your body down, right? Thinking about rolling it completely all along that fascia, breathing throughout. Hopefully my hoodie or my ponytail doesn't get caught on the foam roller. That's happened to me over the years. Okay, so if you're a woman doing this, make sure you keep your ponytail and hoodie, or guy, hoodie up so you don't get choked. I have done that. Okay, deep breath in, breathing out, and then again, looking for those tight spots. So I've got a tight spot in my middle of my back, where the scapula is. If you know your chicken wings, I call them chicken wings for my clients, give them a good visual. Your scapula is the shoulder blades. When you're striking a lot, you can get knots underneath the shoulder blades. And so this is where I'm gonna go into tools that get a little bit deeper, where the foam roller can't get into. So if you got those knots in the middle of your back or up your spine, a peanut, like I'm showing here, is really, really effective in getting those knots out. So what you would do is just like the foam roller, except for it's gonna be a little bit more invasive because you're gonna be right deep in those spots. The peanut goes on one side of your spine and then the other side of your spine, and then you just roll your body down until you get to that spot. And then this is where the tacking even comes in more into play. So you're in that spot, oh, there it is. And you're breathing, and you're just rolling into it a little bit more till it releases. Breathing out, rolling into it a little bit more till it releases, and breathing out. So it's like when I say releasing for clarity, it is like there's a tightness, and then as the muscle and the fascia loosens up over it, it's like it's a relaxing, almost like feeling. And it may feel different for everybody, okay? So it could just be like relaxing, looseness, just feels like a little bit more relief, whatever word helps you describe that feeling, okay? Okay, so that was the posterior back side of the body. Now, anterior, front side of the body, you'd be the same kind of thing, as you're just gently and loosely going back and forth. And again, if it's not fully available to hold yourself up, just lie down and manipulate yourself gently as best as you can. Okay, and again, rolling your thighs, deep breaths in, breathing out, going through. And then for your chest, being a woman, like sometimes here you can take the foam roller, because it is probably going to be too invasive for a guy. Invasive meaning too tender at first, and do it up against the wall. Okay, so that is foam rolling, kind of 101 basics to help you recover faster and decrease aches and pains that you may have from exercising on a regular basis, or you're recovering from any kind of situation that you've been through. The last thing I've got here is the tennis ball here, and tennis ball is extremely helpful in getting those hard to reach places, again, in the middle of your back, on the side of your piriformis, which is in here in the side of your butt cheeks, and other kind of hard to reach places. One other good way to use a tennis ball to get in those hard to reach places, if you drive a lot, is you put the tennis ball in a sock and you release those knots in that as you're driving, especially if you're a long distance driver. Put it in the sock, put it up on your back, and that way you can manipulate it as you're driving and still stay loose and you're not having as many knots. I know for me, I drive stick shift. I do that quite frequently if I have to go on a long drive for my right piriformis handle strings, because they get tight driving standard. Okay, if you haven't already, make sure you smash that subscribe button. If these tips and that helped you, I'd love to know how it helped you, what you got out of the video. And thank you so much for watching this video on Foam Rolling 101.